everyone, it's Angel. It's time for Healthy House Calls with Angel. As many of you know, I am the owner of Seva Health, a mobile house calls and virtual health coaching practice in Maryland. I often get asked the question, why do I do house calls? What is it that I love about it and how did I get started doing it? I also get lots and lots of questions on healthy lifestyles, and people are always, reaching out to me for healthy lifestyle tips. So I decided, why not do a show about it? So welcome to the first episode of Healthy House Calls with Angel. And in this show, I'm hoping just to bring to you short outtakes of some of the tips that I share with my clients and their families in my house calls practice, and some of the things I do in my own day-to-day life to maintain a healthy lifestyle. Some of the books I read, some of the things that I do day-to-day, and just sort of share that knowledge with you. So welcome to the first episode of Healthy House Calls with Angel. So let's get started with that very first question, which is, why do I do house calls? The answer to that is really, really simple. So my career in nursing started over 25 years ago. My first position right out of nursing school was ICU and CCU. And I learned so much. Oh gosh, I learned so very much. But right after I had my children, I realized that the 12-hour night shifts were not going to do it for me. I really, really wanted to be more present in their day-to-day lives. I wanted to be able to go to their swim meets and, be involved in their after-school activities. So I decided to take a position in home care, visiting nursing, and it absolutely changed my life. I credit it for everything that I know and everything that I have become as a healthcare provider, because it really did. Not only did it change my career, as I said, it changed my life. And why I say that is because I got to see my patients and their families up close and personal in a way I would have never been able to see in the hospital setting. I learned what we know in public health are the social determinants of health and how the environment creates a whole different picture for anyone in terms of their health and well-being. It impacts health, it impacts well-being, it impacts every aspect of our life. And so when I say the social determinants of health, I mean access to fresh foods, access to green space, infrastructure, traffic patterns. I learned all of these things, and I got to see these things in real world scenarios, and I thought, gee, this is entirely different than everything I've ever experienced and everything I'd ever learned up till that point in terms of medicine. And I also learned something that a colleague and I always say, which is that all policy is health policy. There isn't anything in our day-to-day lives that doesn't impact our health. So whether we're talking about taxes, whether we're talking about education, whether we're talking about crime in communities that are either our own community or another community, we're all connected, and we're connected to all of these things, and all of these things directly impact our health. So that made me a different healthcare provider, for sure. And so after, much later on, I went back to school to become a nurse practitioner, but I always knew that that was how I wanted to practice as a nurse practitioner. Right after my program, I took a position in a clinic setting, and things were pretty much no different than my hospital experience. The time was limited, 20-minute appointment schedules where, the first 15 minutes of that was spent filling out insurance forms and getting the patient checked in and all of those things, with 5 minutes left to talk about diabetes, 5 minutes left to talk about how to lower this cholesterol, 5 minutes to make the impact that I wanted to make. And I realized that too was not going to work out. So those experiences helped pave the way for Seva Health to be born. And so welcome to my practice. And that is a practice where education of my clients comes first. So in the house call setting, I get to do just that. I get to sit down and really talk about those aspects of a person's life that are impacting their health and their well-being. So if we're talking about hypertension, or if we're talking about diabetes not being well controlled, I can see what's happening not only in the home, but also in the community, what's going on those kitchen shelves, and really get a good snapshot of the whole picture rather than that 5-minute picture that I had in the clinic setting. another reason why I do house calls, and this is really, really important. I get to bring to my practice something that has also changed my life as a person, and as a provider, as a parent, and that is mindfulness and meditation. I can't recall how or when I stumbled on meditation. I do know that it was well over 20 years ago. Most of my adult life I have been meditating, and it's made me a better parent. It's made me a better spouse. It's made me a better clinician. It's certainly made me a better person in my community, that's for sure. It has helped me to mitigate stress in my life. It's helped me to anticipate stress, cope with stress, and more importantly, design a set of strategies to build a healthier lifestyle. I don't know what my life would be like without meditation and mindfulness. And so in my house calls practice, I get to share that with my patients and clients in a very real and practical way. We get to talk about how to lower blood pressure with meaningful strategies that are beyond the blood pressure pill, beyond the lab results, beyond the physical exam with the stethoscope, but really practical, real life, mindfulness-based strategies. So we're looking at what we're eating, we're looking at how well we're sleeping, we're looking at how well we're mitigating stress, and we're using a very, very practical, very portable, very sustainable tool, which I say is mindfulness and meditation. And that's important to me as a clinician because, again, as I said, when we think about the social determinants of health, we have to think about all of the aspects of a person's health and well-being, but we also have to bring other tools and other strategies to cope with these factors. So that's what makes me so excited about my house calls practice, is that I get to infuse my work with something that has definitely made a difference in my life, something that I know will make a difference in my patients' and clients' lives. So that's pretty much why I do house calls. It's very, very special to me, and I get to make the difference, the impact that I'd like to make in my patients' lives and in their families' lives as well. So it just gets to be kind of infectious because when I learn, I share, and when they learn, they share, and it just makes for a better community, a better practice. So that's pretty much it. I'm hoping to bring some of those tips to you. And if you'd like to follow me online, you can look me up on Facebook. You can certainly reach out to me through my website, www.sevahealthgroup.com. You can send me an email with any questions you may have. I'd love to be able to feature them on an upcoming show. So until next time, I hope you have a wonderful, wonderful day and week and months ahead. And as I always say to all of my clients, be good to yourself, because good health starts with great habits, and great habits start at home. Have a great day, everyone. Thanks so much for tuning in to this first episode.